They scanned the human warship again, and what they found, this time, was worse. The massive human warship, USS Defiant, floated silently against the black canvas of space. Its dark hull absorbed the distant starlight, making it look like a shadow among shadows. Only its running lights blinked slowly, showing that it was alive and watching. Commander Alan Russell stood on the bridge with his hands clasped behind his back. He was a tall man with short gray hair and eyes that had seen too much war. The large view screen in front of him showed an alien ship. It was smooth and white, shaped like a teardrop, and much bigger than any human ship ever built. "Status report," Russell said, his voice calm despite the danger they faced. Lieutenant Olivia White looked up from her screen. Her red hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and dark circles under her eyes showed she hadn't slept much. "The alien vessel is holding position, sir. They're scanning us again." Russell nodded slowly. 6 months ago, humans had met the Zakthari for the first time. The aliens had seemed peaceful at first. They spoke about friendship and sharing knowledge. That lasted 3 weeks. Then they destroyed the lunar colony without warning. 40,000 people died that day. "Let them look," Russell said. "They won't find anything we don't want them to see." The bridge was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers and the low hum of the air systems. Everyone knew what was at stake. If the Defiant failed, Earth might be next. Peter Harris, Russell's second-in-command, moved to stand beside him. He was younger than Russell, with dark skin and serious eyes. "Do you think they suspect anything, sir?" Russell shook his head. "No, but they're careful. The Zakthari don't make mistakes often." White's computer made a sharp noise. "Sir, they're hailing us." "On screen," Russell ordered. The view of the alien ship disappeared, replaced by the face of a Zakthari. The alien had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern on its face. Its skin was black and shiny like polished stone. 2 small holes near the bottom of its face opened and closed as it breathed. "Human vessel," the alien said, its voice translated by the ship's computer. "We have completed our scan. Your weapons are primitive. Your shields are weak. You will power down your systems and prepare to be boarded." Russell stepped forward. "This is Commander Alan Russell of the Earth Defense Force ship Defiant. Your presence in our solar system violates the boundary you agreed to last month. Leave now." The alien's upper eyes narrowed. "You are not in a position to make demands, human. Your species is violent and dangerous. The collective has decided you cannot be allowed to spread beyond your solar system." "And yet here we are," Russell said. "If we're so primitive, why did you need to scan us twice?" The alien was silent for a moment. "There were irregularities in our first scan. They have been resolved. Your ship holds no surprises for us now." Russell smiled slightly. "Are you sure about that?" He nodded to White, who cut the transmission. The alien ship reappeared on the screen. "They're powering up weapons," White reported. Russell turned to Harris. "Battle stations, alert all hands." Alarms began to sound throughout the ship. Crew members who had been resting jumped from their beds and ran to their posts. In the engine room, engineers prepared for the fight ahead. Chief Engineer Samantha Kelly worked quickly at her station deep inside the ship. She was short with strong hands and brown hair cut close to her head. Around her, other engineers watched their screens and adjusted controls. "Power levels stable," called out Engineer Joe Davis from across the room. The alien scan didn't detect anything unusual. Kelly nodded. "Good. Keep the containment fields at maximum. If they get even a hint of what we're hiding down here, this whole dance is over." The intercom crackled. "Engineering, this is Commander Russell. The Zakthari are preparing to attack. Is our package secure?" Kelly pressed a button. "Yes, sir." "They didn't find it, but if they hit us too hard, they won't get the chance," Russell replied. "Stand by." On the bridge, Russell watched as the alien ship moved closer. Its smooth white surface began to glow in certain spots as weapons powered up. "Sir," White said, "I'm picking up energy readings. They're preparing to fire." Russell sat in the command chair. "Shields at maximum. Return fire only when I give the order." The first shot from the alien ship lit up space between the vessels. A beam of bright green energy slammed into the Defiant's shields. The human ship shook but held firm. Shields at 90%, Harris reported. Minor damage to outer hull sections. The Zikthari fired again. 3 more green beams hit the Defiant's shields in quick succession. Shields at 75%, Harris said. They're hitting us harder than expected. Russell leaned forward in his chair. Target their forward weapons array. Fire railguns only. White pressed several buttons on her console. Railguns locked on target. Firing. The Defiant shuddered as its weapons fired. Solid metal projectiles shot toward the alien ship at incredible speed. They struck the Zikthari vessel, causing small explosions on its surface. Direct hits, White reported. Minimal damage to their shields. The ship's computer beeped loudly. Sir, Harris said. They're scanning us again. A deeper scan this time. Russell exchanged a look with Harris. This was what they had been waiting for. Let them look, he said quietly. Activate protocol misdirection. Harris nodded and typed a command into his console. Throughout the ship, special systems designed to fool the alien scanners came online. In engineering, Kelly watched as her screen showed the protocol activating. Here we go, she muttered. Let's hope this works. The Zikthari ship stopped firing. For several long seconds, nothing happened. Then White looked up from her console, her face pale. Sir, she said. They're hailing us again. Russell nodded. On screen, the alien commander appeared again, but something was different. All 4 of its eyes were wide open and its breathing holes flared rapidly. Human vessel, it said, and this time there was a new tone in its voice. Something that sounded almost like fear. Our scans have detected. What is the power source in your engine section? It doesn't match any known technology. Russell smiled. I thought you said we were primitive. Explain this technology immediately, the alien demanded. I don't think I will, Russell replied. But I suggest you back away from Earth, now. The alien stared at him. This is not possible. Your species should not have this capability. Russell leaned forward. There's a lot you don't know about humans, and what you found this time is just the beginning. He signaled to White, who cut the transmission. Sir, Harris said quietly, they've detected the outer shell. If they scan again, they'll find what's really inside, Russell finished. And then things get interesting. Deep within the Defiant, behind layers of shielding and deception, something waited. Something the aliens had missed in their first scan. Something worse than they could possibly imagine. The real battle was about to begin. They scanned the human warship again, and what they found this time was worse. The Zikthari ship backed away slowly. Its white hull gleamed in the starlight as it put distance between itself and the Defiant. But it didn't leave. Instead, it seemed to be waiting for something. Commander Russell watched the alien vessel carefully. They're calling for backup, he said. Harris nodded. Makes sense. They found something they didn't expect. How long until their reinforcements arrive? Russell asked. White checked her instruments. Based on their communications, maybe 4 hours. They have ships near Jupiter that could reach us. Russell stood up from his chair. Then we have 4 hours to prepare. I'll be in engineering. Harris, you have the bridge. The corridors of the Defiant were crowded as Russell made his way down to engineering. Crew members rushed back and forth, checking systems and preparing for the bigger fight to come. Everyone knew that the first exchange had been just a test. The real battle would start when more alien ships arrived. The ship's elevator took Russell deep into the heart of the vessel. When the doors opened, he stepped into a large room filled with humming machines. Chief Engineer Kelly was bent over a console, her face lit by blue light from the screen. Status report, Russell said as he walked up to her. Kelly looked up. Sweat covered her forehead. The outer shell held up during their scan, sir. They detected the false energy signature just like we planned. But Russell could tell from her face that something was wrong. Kelly pointed to a display showing a section of the ship. The hits we took damaged some of the shielding around Chamber 3. If they scan us again with a stronger beam, they might see past our first layer of tricks. Russell frowned. Chamber 3 contained the real secret of the Defiant, the technology Earth had been hiding from the Zikathari. If the aliens discovered what was really there, they would do anything to destroy the ship before it could be used against them. Can you fix it? He asked. Yes, but I need time. At least 3 hours. Russell nodded. You have 2. The Zikathari will have friends here sooner than we thought. He looked through a thick window at the sealed room beyond. Inside, a strange blue light pulsed slowly. It didn't look like much, but it was humanity's greatest achievement and maybe their only hope against the advanced aliens. Has there been any change in the core? Russell asked quietly. Engineer Joe Davis joined them. He was a young man with nervous eyes who knew more about the technology in Chamber 3 than anyone except Kelly. No change, sir. It's stable. But if we have to use it, I know the risks, Russell said. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. The intercom buzzed. Bridge to Commander Russell. Russell pressed a button on the wall. Russell here. Sir, Harris's voice came through. The Zikathari are hailing us again, and we're picking up energy signatures from the direction of Jupiter. They're coming sooner than we expected. On my way, Russell said. He turned to Kelly. You have 90 minutes. Do whatever you can. Kelly nodded grimly. We'll be ready, sir. Back on the bridge, Russell found the alien commander waiting on the screen. The Zikathari looked different now. It was wearing some kind of armored suit, and more aliens could be seen moving in the background. Human, it said. Our reinforcements are coming. You have one chance to surrender your ship intact. The technology you are hiding must be studied. Russell sat in his command chair. We're not hiding anything, and we're not surrendering. The alien's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. Then you leave us no choice. We have informed our fleet of what we found. The humans possess forbidden technology. Your entire species will be cleansed for this violation. You might find that harder than you think, Russell replied. The alien leaned closer to the screen. Your shield technology surprised us, human, but it will not save you. We have faced many species who thought they could stand against the collective. None exist now. Russell smiled. Then I guess we'll be the first. He signaled to White, who cut the transmission. How many ships are coming? Russell asked. White studied her screen. 5 vessels, sir, all larger than the one we're facing now. Russell turned to Harris. Prepare all weapon systems and alert Dr. Martinez in the science lab. Tell him to get ready to activate protocol revelation. Harris looked surprised. Sir, that protocol is only for... I know what it's for, Russell said firmly. Just make sure he's ready. In the science lab, Dr. Greg Martinez received the message from the bridge. His hands trembled slightly as he began the preparation sequence on his computer. Protocol revelation was supposed to be a last resort, a desperate gamble if everything else failed. Martinez was a small man with thick glasses and a brilliant mind. He had helped design many of the Defiant systems, including what waited in Chamber 3. But even he wasn't sure what would happen if they had to use it. His assistant, Linda Evans, worked at another console nearby. Are they really asking? For revelation, she asked, her voice hushed. Martinez nodded. 6 ships against 1, we knew this might happen. But the simulator tests showed a 30% chance of... I know, Martinez cut her off. But the alternative is watching Earth burn. The commander has made his choice. In engineering, Kelly worked frantically to repair the damaged shielding. Davis and the other engineers helped, but time was running out. Through the window, the blue light in Chamber 3 seemed to pulse faster, as if it knew what was coming. Power fluctuation in the containment field, Davis warned. Kelly checked her readings. Compensating. We need to keep it stable for just a bit longer. On the bridge, Russell watched as the first alien reinforcement arrived. It dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a flash of light, its massive form making the first Zikathari ship look small. Sir, White reported, they're scanning us again. This scan is much more powerful than before. Russell clenched his jaw. Full shields. Activate all countermeasures. The ship shuddered as the powerful scan passed through it. Lights dimmed briefly throughout the vessel. White looked up from her console, her face pale. "Sir, they found it. They've detected Chamber 3. The largest alien ship moved forward. A moment later, all 6 Zikathari vessels fired at once. The space around the Defiant lit up with green energy beams. "Evasive maneuvers," Russell ordered. The human ship moved with surprising speed, avoiding some of the shots, but others hit, making the whole vessel shake violently. "Shields at 40%, Harris called out. "We can't take much more of this." Russell pressed the intercom. "Engineering, we're out of time." Kelly's voice came back, breathless. "Sir, if we activate now, I can't guarantee." "We have no choice," Russell cut her off. "The Zikathari know what we have. They'll throw everything at us now." There was a pause. Then Kelly's voice, steady despite everything. "Understood, sir. Chamber 3 is opening." Deep within the Defiant, the sealed room that had been hidden behind layers of deception began to open. The blue light grew brighter, filling the chamber. The thing the Zakathari feared most was about to be revealed. They scanned the human warship again, and what they found. This time was worse. The blue light from Chamber 3 spread through the engineering section of the Defiant. It moved like water, flowing through the corridors and into the walls of the ship. Engineers stepped back, watching with a mixture of fear and hope as the light passed around them but didn't touch them. In the sealed room, something was changing. What had once been a small blue sphere now expanded, growing until it filled the entire chamber. It pulsed with energy that no human technology could have created. Chief Engineer Kelly watched through the window, her face lit by the strange light. "It's working," she whispered. On the bridge, Commander Russell gripped the arms of his chair as the ship shook from another hit. The Zikathari were firing everything they had now. "Shields at 22%, Harris reported. "One more direct hit and they'll fail completely." Russell pressed the intercom. "Kelly, we're running out of time." "The process has started, sir," Kelly's voice came back, "but it needs another 2 minutes to fully activate." Russell looked at the screen where the 6 alien ships surrounded the Defiant. "We might not have 2 minutes." He turned to White. "Target, all weapons on the lead ship. Fire everything we have." White nodded and entered commands into her console. A moment later, the Defiant fired back at the aliens. Railguns, missiles, and energy beams shot from the human ship, most hitting the largest, Zikathari vessel. The alien ship's shields flared bright white as they absorbed the attack. For a moment, it seemed like the Defiant's weapons had no effect. Then cracks appeared in the white glow around the alien ship. "Their shields are weakening," White said, surprise in her voice. Another hit rocked the Defiant. Warning lights flashed. "Across the bridge. Hull breach on deck 4, Harris called out. "Emergency teams responding, shields failing." The intercom crackled. "Bridge, this is Dr. Martinez. Protocol revelation is at 60%. The light has reached all sections of the ship." Russell could see it now. A faint blue glow spreading across the walls of the bridge. It didn't seem dangerous. In fact, it felt almost comforting. "What about the crew?" Russell asked. "All readings normal," Martinez replied. "The light is ignoring organic matter just as we hoped." One of the smaller Zikathari ships moved closer to the Defiant. A bright beam shot out from its front section. Not a weapon, but a tractor beam. It locked onto the human ship, holding it in place. "They're trying to board us," Harris warned. Russell stood up. "All hands prepare to repel boarders. Security teams to all airlocks." Throughout the ship, crew members grabbed weapons and moved to defensive positions. They had trained for this, but facing the aliens directly would be different from any simulation. Intern. Engineering. Kelly felt the ship shudder as the tractor beam took hold. "Davis, seal all access to Chamber 3, she ordered. "No one gets in or out until the process is complete." Davis nodded and locked down the area. 90 seconds to full activation, he reported. The largest Zakathari ship moved directly in front of the Defiant. Its hull opened, revealing a massive weapon unlike anything the humans had seen before. "Energy readings off the charts," White said, her voice shaking. "They're going to fire their main weapon." Russell looked at the alien ship on the screen. After everything they had done, it might end here anyway. But he wouldn't give up. Divert all remaining power to forward shields, he ordered. Sir, Harris objected. That will leave the rest of the ship unprotected. Do it, Russell insisted. We just need a few more seconds. Just as Harris made the adjustment, the alien ship fired. A beam of blinding white energy shot toward the Defiant, hitting its front section. The human ship shook violently. Panels exploded across the bridge and several crew members were thrown from their stations. Russell picked himself up from the floor, blood running from a cut on his forehead. Status report. White checked her damaged console. Forward shields, destroyed. Hull integrity at 40%, multiple breaches reported. The intercom crackled with static before Kelly's voice came through. Bridge. The process. 95%, just a few more seconds. The blue light had grown brighter now. It filled every corridor, every room of the ship, and it was changing, becoming more solid somehow. They're coming again. Harris warned, pointing to the screen where the alien weapon was powering up for another shot. We won't survive another hit like that, White said quietly. Russell stood tall, facing the screen. We don't need to. Look. The blue light suddenly flared throughout the ship, becoming so bright that the crew had to shield their eyes. When they could see again, everything had changed. The walls of the Defiant now glowed with strange symbols that shifted and moved. The damaged sections of the ship were repairing themselves, metal flowing like liquid to seal breaches. And around the entire vessel, a new shield had formed. Not the standard energy shield they had before, but something that looked almost alive. What is that? Harris asked, staring at the weird patterns that covered every surface. The real secret of the Defiant, Russell replied. Alien technology that we found buried on Mars 50 years ago. Technology from a race far older and more advanced than the Zakthari. On the screen, they could see the alien ships backing away. The tractor beam had disappeared, releasing the Defiant. They're scanning us again, White reported. And they're communicating with each other. A lot of communication. The largest Zakthari ship fired its main weapon again. The white beam shot toward the Defiant, but when it hit the new shield, something strange happened. The beam didn't explode against the shield or get absorbed by it. Instead, it simply vanished, as if it had never existed. In engineering, Kelly watched as the blue light settled into the walls and floors. The symbols it left behind pulsed gently, almost like they were breathing. It worked, Davis said, his voice filled with wonder. It actually worked. Kelly nodded. The ancient ship we found wasn't dead. It was just sleeping, and now we've woken it up. On the bridge, Russell watched as the Zakthari ships continued to back away. Sir, White said, they're hailing us again. On screen, Russell ordered. The alien commander appeared, but it was different now. Its four eyes were wide with what could only be described as fear. Human vessel, it said, its voice shaking even through the translation. You have activated ancient technology. This violation cannot be allowed. Russell stepped forward. You attacked us. You destroyed our colony. Did you think we wouldn't defend ourselves? That technology destroyed its creators, the alien warned. It will destroy you too. Maybe, Russell admitted. But right now it's keeping you from destroying us. And that's all that matters. The alien seemed to struggle with something before speaking again. The collective will send more ships. Many. More. You cannot stand against our entire fleet. Russell smiled. I think you'll find we're full of surprises. The blue light pulsed once more, stronger than before. The symbols on the walls of the bridge shifted, forming new patterns, and the Defiant began to change. They scanned the human warship. Again, and what they found. This time was worse. The Defiant was changing. Its hull, once dark gray metal, now shimmered with a blue-silver color. The damage from the Zakthari attack was healing itself. Broken sections, reformed, becoming whole again. The ship was growing too, expanding in ways that seemed impossible. Commander Russell watched in amazement as new structures appeared along the sides of the Defiant. They looked like wings or fins, but made of the same strange metal as the rest of the ship now. "What's happening?" Harris asked, his eyes wide. Russell shook his head. "I don't know. The scientists said the ancient technology might adapt to our ship, but they never predicted this." White looked up from her console, which was now covered in the shifting symbols. "Sir, I'm getting strange readings from all sections of the ship. The power levels I can't even measure them anymore." The intercom buzzed. "Bridge, this is Kelly. You need to see what's happening down here." Russell pressed a button. "On my way." "Harris, you have the bridge." The corridors of the Defiant had changed completely. The plain metal walls were now covered in the flowing symbols which moved like living things. They seemed to react to Russell as he passed, glowing brighter when he got close. When Russell reached engineering, he found Kelly standing with Dr. Martinez in front of what had been Chamber 3. The room was open now, but instead of equipment, it contained what looked like a pool of liquid blue light. "What is that?" Russell asked. Martinez adjusted his glasses. "We think it's the control center of the ancient ship. The technology we found on Mars wasn't just a weapon or a power source. It was the heart of a living vessel." "Living?" Russell moved closer to the pool. "You mean this ship is alive?" Kelly nodded. "In a way. Not alive like we are, but aware. The symbols aren't just decorations. They're a language. The ship is trying to communicate with us." As if responding to her words, the symbols on the walls changed pattern. The blue pool rippled, and a shape rose from its center. It looked like a human figure made of light. Russell stepped back in surprise. "What is that?" "An interface," Martinez explained. "It took a form we would recognize. It's been studying us since we activated it." The light figure turned to face Russell. It had no real features, just a general human shape, but somehow Russell felt it was looking right at him. "Commander Alan Russell," the figure said in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "This vessel requires guidance." Russell glanced at Kelly and Martinez, who both looked as shocked as he felt. "You can speak our language?" "I have access to your ship's computer systems," the figure replied. "Your language is simple to understand." "What are you?" Russell asked. The figure seemed to consider the question. "I am what remains of the architects, my creators. They called me Guardian." Martinez stepped forward, his face filled with excitement. "The architects, they were the race that built you?" "Yes, they created me to protect them. I failed." The figure's light dimmed slightly. "The Zakathari destroyed them long ago." Russell felt a chill. "The Zakathari? The same aliens that are attacking us now?" "They are the same species, yes. But these are not the ones who destroyed my creators. That was 50,000 of your years ago. Outside the ship, the Zakathari vessels were keeping their distance. They had stopped firing, but they hadn't left. They were waiting, watching what was happening to the human ship. On the bridge, Harris monitored the alien fleet. "They're calling for more reinforcements," he told White. "Big ones this time." White nodded. "And our ship keeps changing. Look at this." She pointed to a screen showing the outside of the Defiant. The ship was now almost twice its original size, with new structures that looked like weapons forming along its hull. In engineering, Russell listened as the light figure explained what was happening. "Your species found me buried beneath the surface of the fourth planet in your system," Guardian said. "I was damaged, dormant. You brought pieces of me to this vessel. When you activated the emergency protocols, it triggered my awakening." "So you're taking over our ship?" Russell asked, concerned. "No. I am merging with it, becoming something new. Your technology is primitive, but interesting. Different from what the architects used." Kelly stepped closer to the pool. "Can you help us fight the Zakathari? They destroyed our lunar colony, killed thousands of our people." The figure's light pulsed. "The Zakathari fear what they do not understand. They destroyed the architects because they feared their power. Now they fear you for the same reason." "We just want to defend ourselves," Russell said. We don't want to destroy them. A curious position, Guardian replied, but acceptable. I will help you defend. The transformation is nearly complete. As if on cue, the ship shuddered, not from an attack this time, but from something changing deep within its structure. What's happening now? Russell asked. Guardian's light figure stretched upward. The weapon systems are online. The Zikathari are preparing to attack again. They have called their dreadnought. Russell didn't know what a dreadnought was, but it didn't sound good. How long until it gets here? It has arrived, Guardian said simply. Russell rushed back to the bridge, followed by Kelly and Martinez. When they arrived, Harris pointed to the main screen. A new Zikathari ship had appeared. It was enormous, at least 10 times larger than any of the others. Its white hull was covered in weapons, all pointing at the Defiant. That's the dreadnought, Russell said quietly. White looked up from her console. Sir, they're hailing us. On screen, Russell ordered. This time a different Zakathari appeared. It wore an elaborate helmet with glowing parts, and its 4 eyes were red instead of black. Human vessel, it said, its voice deeper than the other aliens. I am High Commander Vexter of the Zakathari Collective. You have one final chance to surrender the ancient technology. If you refuse, we will destroy your entire planet. Russell stepped forward. We will not surrender, and you will not destroy Earth. The alien's eyes narrowed. You do not understand what you possess. The ancient technology is forbidden for a reason. It nearly destroyed our ancestors. We will not allow it to threaten us again. You attacked us first, Russell reminded it. We're just defending ourselves. Defending? The alien made a sound like harsh laughter. The ancients said the same before they created weapons that consumed entire stars. We will not make that mistake again. The transmission ended. The dreadnought's weapons began to glow, preparing to fire. On the bridge of the Defiant, the symbols on the wall suddenly glowed brighter. A voice spoke from the air, Guardian's voice. The vessel is complete. Defense is ready. Russell looked at the massive alien ship on the screen. Can we withstand their attack? Yes, Guardian replied. And more. The dreadnought fired. A beam of energy far larger than anything the other ships had produced shot toward the Defiant. But before it hit, something strange happened. Space itself seemed to bend around the human ship. The beam curved away, missing completely. The Defiant glowed with blue light, and for a moment, everyone could see what the ship had truly become. It was no longer just a human vessel. It was something else, entirely. And the Zakathari were right to be afraid. They scanned the human warship again, and what they found this time was worse. The bridge of the Defiant fell silent as everyone stared at the screen. The dreadnought's attack had missed completely. Its powerful beam curved away as if pushed by an invisible hand. The massive alien ship hung in space, its weapons still glowing but not firing again. What just happened? Harris asked, breaking the silence. Russell looked around at the transformed bridge. The walls pulsed with blue light, and the symbols flowed like water across every surface. Guardian, Russell said to the air. What did you do? The light figure appeared in the center of the bridge, startling several crew members. I activated the spacefold defense. The dreadnought cannot harm this vessel now. White looked at her console, which was covered in the flowing symbols. They're scanning us again. The scan is even more powerful than before. Let them look, Guardian said. They will see what they fear most. On the dreadnought, High Commander Vexter received the scan results. The 4-eyed alien stared at the data in disbelief. Impossible, Vexter hissed. The readings match those of an Architect world ship, but they were all destroyed. The commander turned to its crew. Prepare the Nova cannon. We must destroy that vessel before it fully activates. Back on the Defiant, Guardian's light figure grew brighter. The dreadnought is preparing their main weapon. It has the power to destroy a small moon. Can we withstand that? Russell asked. Yes, Guardian replied, but there is another option. I can show you the true power of this vessel now. Russell hesitated. What kind of power? The power to end this conflict without more destruction, Guardian said. I was created to protect, not to destroy. The architects were a peaceful race, until the Zikathari attacked them. Dr. Martinez stepped forward. Commander, we should trust Guardian. Everything it has done so far has been to defend us. Russell nodded slowly. All right, show us. Guardian's light figure stretched upward. The controls have been adapted to your understanding. You may guide the ship now. Russell looked down at his command chair. It had changed, becoming something new. The armrests were covered in the flowing symbols which seemed to respond to his touch. Place your hands on the symbols, Guardian instructed. Russell did as he was told. Immediately, he felt a connection to the ship unlike anything he had experienced before. He could feel every part of the Defiant as if it were an extension of his own body. He could sense the dreadnought and the other alien ships. He could even feel Earth far behind them. What do I do? He asked. Think of what you want the ship to do, Guardian replied. It will respond to your thoughts. Russell closed his eyes. He thought about protecting Earth, about ending the conflict without destroying the Zikathari, about showing the aliens that humans weren't the savages they believed them to be. The Defiant began to move, not with engines, but by folding space around itself. It appeared directly in front of the dreadnought, so close that the alien ship had to quickly adjust its weapons. Now what? Russell asked, his eyes still closed. Now we show them our true power, Guardian said. The symbols throughout the ship glowed brighter than ever before. From the outside, the Defiant was transformed. It was no longer recognizable as a human vessel. It had become something ancient and powerful, something that made even the dreadnought seem small in comparison. Beams of blue light shot from the Defiant, but they weren't weapons. They touched each of the Zikathari ships, connecting them all, together in a web of light. In the dreadnought's bridge, Vexter screamed as knowledge poured into its mind. The truth about the architects. The truth about why the ancient Zikathari had destroyed them. Not because they were dangerous, but because they had offered to share their technology with all races, including those the Zikathari had conquered. Theo. Same light filled the minds of every Zikathari in the fleet. They saw what their ancestors had done. They felt the fear that had driven them to destroy a peaceful race, and they understood the warning that the Defiant now represented. On the human ship, Russell opened his eyes. I can feel them. I can feel their thoughts. Yes, Guardian confirmed. And they can feel yours. This is how the architects communicated with other races, through shared understanding. They're afraid, Russell said. They've been afraid for a long time. The communication screen lit up. High Commander Vexter appeared again, but the alien looked different now. Its red eyes had dimmed and its posture had changed. Human Commander, Vexter said, its voice softer than before. We understand now. What we did to your colony was wrong. What our ancestors did to the architects was wrong. Russell nodded. And now you know we're not the savages you thought we were. Yes. The alien seemed to struggle with its next words. The collective has always taught that humans are dangerous, unpredictable, but we see now that you chose not to destroy us when you could have. We want peace, Russell said. That's all we ever wanted. Vexter was quiet for a moment. The collective will not easily accept this change, but I will return to our homeworld. With what we have learned today, the knowledge cannot be ignored. And Earth? Russell asked. Will you leave us in peace? Yes, the alien replied. The ships around your world have been called back. Your species will be granted time to develop in your own way. After the transmission ended, Russell turned to his crew. Did we just make peace with them? Guardian's light figure pulsed gently. For now. The Zikathari will need time to accept what they have learned, but the seed of understanding has been planted. Kelly looked around at the transformed ship. And what about the Defiant? What happens to it now? The ship is yours, Guardian said. I will remain as its guide if you wish. There is much your species can learn from what the architects left behind. Russell stood up from his chair. and much the architects might have learned from us if they had survived. Yes, Guardian agreed. Your species is young, but your potential is great. The architects would have seen themselves in you. As the Zakathari ships began to move away, Russell looked at the Earth on the screen. It seemed so small and fragile from here, but it was home, and now it was safe. Take us home, he told Guardian. The symbols on the walls pulsed once more, and the Defiant moved through folded space toward Earth. The ship was changed forever, and so was humanity's place in the galaxy. The Zakathari had scanned the human warship and found something worse than they could have imagined. Not a weapon that would destroy them, but a truth that would transform them. And that was just the beginning.